So far, Bloomberg has learned that KKR, Perella Weinberg, and now BlackRock are in talks for Goldman's prop trading group. Joining us now for more on this is Jeffery Harte. He's an analyst over at Sandler O'Neill. He, like most of the analysts who cover Goldman, has a buy rating on the stock. So, Jeff, obviously, we've been hearing murmurs already that Goldman was going to get rid of some or all of its prop traders. What do you think here of this idea that it's trying to do it in an organized fashion?
Well, I mean, let's make one, I think, point that needs to be clarified is what we've heard so far is talking about this principal strategies group, which is essentially the internal hedge fund within the equity trading business. That's probably as pure a proprietary business as you'll find, and we kind of knew they'd have to do something with it. The much bigger issue potentially for them is the special situations group, which is inside of the fixed income trading business. It's much less clear whether that's proprietary, but between the two, the principal strategy group, or what we're talking about now, is quite a bit smaller. It's a good business. It's performed very well for them. It wouldn't make sense to just shut it down. I mean, there's some value there they can monetize, and you would think, I mean, a sale would be a good way to do it. Other things we've heard of is potentially keeping the management function but raising outside investor money to manage, or even just kind of spinning it off through an IPO or something into public hands. But, I mean, the principal strategies group is a business that, looking at the Volcker rule as it stands, they would have to get out of, and this seems like a decent opportunity to do that.
Well, and do you think, as you talked about, there's this group, there's this special situations group, do you think that by getting out ahead of this with the principal strategies group, that Goldman hopes to maybe buy a little more time, perhaps, to figure out what to do with the other group, or even try to avert a sale of that group entirely, since the line is a little more blurred there?
Well, I mean, I think certainly that the special situations group, or the within fixed income, I mean, that similarly has been a very good business for them, and a lot of its different business lines do interact directly with clients. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but I could see a lot of that business being retained and not kind of being forced to spin out, whereas the principal strategies group, I mean, that's walled off from the rest of Goldman. It's not interacting with clients. We kind of knew this was going to go. It was a question of how was it going to go, and could they actually get some value out of the exit as opposed to just shutting it down. A, it looks like they're finding a way to do that, but B, and this is a good business that, whoever were to if someone were to end up buying it, they're getting a very strong, long track record, hedge fund asset manager upon which they could theoretically grow the assets under management quite a bit.
And Jeff, could I ask you in our last 30 seconds, as we were talking to our people about this earlier in the broadcast, is this just a question of Goldman saying they'd rather do this sooner rather than later? Because as you just mentioned, the Volcker rule and the eye that this has put on prop trading, Goldman wanting to get ahead of the curve here and basically not being told what to do but taking the initiative themselves?
One thing you can historically count on from Goldman is that once the rules are set, they'll be one of the first to react, and probably react correctly. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that they're one of the first ones reacting. They've also got one of the premier franchises here. I mean, there are a lot of pure proprietary trading desks on Wall Street, but, I mean, this is one at Goldman that's been around for a long time, and it's quite a strong track record. So it's probably going to be one of the easiest ones out there to find buyers from.
All right, Jeffery Harte of Sandler O'Neill joining us on the phone. Jeff, thanks for your perspective. Appreciate it.